Words so sharp, they cut right through. Real talk for the soul's appeal. Prayers rise up the wounds they heal. Lift our voices to the sky. A righteous perspective high. On this path we won't back down. For the Father wears the crown. Each step brings another fight. Breaking chains, we're seeking light. Voice of power won't be tamed. With His love, we're never shamed. Lift our voices to the sky. A righteous perspective high. On this path we won't back down. For the Father wears the crown. From the ashes we shall rise. Hope is found deep in our eyes. Every word a battle cry. With the Father none deny.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ARP in the morning. I am your host, Wise. Happy Monday to you guys. Happy Monday to each and every one of you all. Appreciate you all pulling up. Appreciate you all pulling up this morning, man. Thank you very much, man. I hope you guys had a great weekend, restful, fun. Hopefully you guys, got into something good or, just relaxed, man, and took it easy. Either way, that works for me. Shout out to everybody in the chat this morning. Shout out to Zephyr K9 pulling up first thing in the morning. And it is a St. Patty's Day today, huh? Is that today or was that yesterday? I don't keep up with it because I don't normally celebrate St. Patrick's Day, but if it is, hey, St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you guys. Don't go out and go too crazy. I know out here, in the Baltimore area, man, you go down to certain areas, Fells Point, things of that nature, man, it can get pretty wild on a St. Patty's Day. So, man, y'all be safe out there if that is the case. Shout out to Scott Jung. Appreciate you pulling up this morning, as always. Murfreesboro, Tennessee in the building. PK Krillin in the building. Savannah, Tennessee in the building. My Tennessee brethren, appreciate you all pulling up. We got Suzanne Bills in the morning. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you very much. Scarlett Wilson, what's going on with you? Rick Pre, Thea Flies High, appreciate you. Roscoe, New York in the building. Redefined Queen in the house, appreciate you pulling up this morning. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from. City, state, country, all that good jazz. What's up, Josie? How you doing today? Appreciate Gerard Caswell for the $5 super chat. Thank you very much, brother. Says I can do everything God asks me to with the help of Christ, who gives me to strength and power. Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. Happy Monday, y'all. May God bless you, and absolutely may God bless each and every one of you all for a great week. Shout out to Larry Montgomery. Appreciate you pulling up this morning as well. We got Northern California in the building. Oh yeah. Thank you, Gerard, man. You are awesome, man. You've truly been a blessing to the show, man, and I really appreciate it. I do not take it for granted at all. And everybody that supports the channel, by tuning in and by, supporting the channel financially. I appreciate each and every one of you all, man. I really, really do. Oh yeah. What's up, Maverick One? Randy Richmond, appreciate you pulling up. Toy Mafia, Steve, Ed Mister, appreciate you pulling up. We got Buffalo in the building. What's going on? Hey, Marianne, how you doing today? Ed Meyer, what's up? Mississippi in the building. All right. Oh yeah, absolutely, man. What up, RJ Hudson? What's going on with you? Appreciate you pulling up. Appreciate you pulling up as always. What's up, Chili Mac? How you doing? Distorted Ones, Springfield, Missouri in the building. All right. We're gonna get the show started. We're gonna get the show started. Okay, so today is Patty's Day, huh? Okay. Hey, enjoy yourself out there. Don't go too hard. I know I know folks, they get to tend to go a little crazy, because it's Patty's Day. What up, baby lungs? Minnesota in the building. What's up with you? What's up, Jane? How you doing this morning? Las Vegas. We got Hackensack, New Jersey in the house. What up, Kenny G? What's up with you, brother? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Delinda, how you doing this morning? We got Washington State in the building. Uh-oh. What up, Gord? Hey, I'm in Baltimore, man. Hey, I've been out here, man. I am not born and raised in Baltimore, but I have lived out this way dating back to 2009. So this is home. I raised my kids here for the most part. They lived, my oldest son, we're in the military, so we kind of little everywhere with him. But we kind of this is where I kind of stabilized at, after, all of that. And, this is home, man. This is home. So yeah, we repping for the Ravens, man. We repping for the Ravens hard. I normally go to probably 4 or 5 games, home games a year. I don't live too far away from the stadium. I probably, if there's no traffic, I'm 10 minutes away from the stadium. So I normally go to, 4 or 5 home games. Normally earlier in the season, I don't like doing the cold weather because it is an outdoor stadium at M&T. It's too daggone cold. I'm not that die hard to go out in 30 below weather and sit out there, because normally, we'll go out, we'll tailgate. It's a long day, when you go to the game. It's a good time, but it's a long day. And when it's freezing cold out there, I can't do it. I can't do it. But hey, AFC North, man, everybody's real tight. Everybody knows each other. Very, very familiar. What up? We got Texas in the building, Colorado in the building, Venice, Florida in the house, San Antonio in the house. What's up, Shayna Johnson? How you doing today? Kansas City, Missouri. Doletown, Tennessee in the building. We got a lot of Tennessee folks up in here. Thank you. Anastasia says she watches or listens to the show every morning. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. What's up, Renee Morgan? How you doing today? Fantastic day to have a fantastic day. Absolutely. To newcomer. My son, I used to tell him all the time when he was in school, my youngest son. And he'd always be like, oh, Dad, because he didn't really care for going to school like that. And I just tell him every morning, today is going to be a great day. And I'm like, if you could start your day off saying that today is going to be a great day, guess what? It will be a great day. As a man thinketh, so is it, and so is he. So if you can start your day off like that, that's a positive attitude. I love it. We got Lexington, South Carolina in the building. IRA Dyson, what's up with you? Appreciate you pulling up. Oh, we got a Cincinnati fan in the building. What's up, Ace? You guys spent a lot of money on that daggone offense. No offensive line, and y'all not going to be able to stop a nosebleed. But, hey, we're looking forward to seeing you guys this coming season. As always, beating the brakes off of y'all like we did last year. Definitely looking forward to it. What's up, Quincy James? How you doing today? Appreciate you pulling up. What's going on, West Virginia Wire? Regina, how you doing this morning, sister? Appreciate you pulling up. I got to get used to do you want me to say West Virginia, or are you okay with me shouting out yourself, Miss Regina? I hope all is well with you and your husband, man. Hope all is well. What's up, Matthew? What's up, Amy? How you doing today? Deep Creek Lake, Maryland. Yeah, Deep Creek is nice. Deep Creek is nice. We got Wyoming in the building, Philly in the house, Cheesesteak 70. All right, that's what's up. Miss Old School Lexington Market. Yeah, they actually revamped Lexington Market. They've revamped it up a little bit. All right. Oh, I hear my dog coming downstairs. Hopefully he doesn't come down here and act a fool. All right, let's get the show kicked off, man. Let's get things going. Make sure I didn't miss anybody real fast. Oh, yeah. Let's get the show kicked off, man. You guys seen the thumbnail. You seen the title. Appreciate everybody that pulled up this morning. As always, I'm hopefully we'll have more and more people file in as we get the things going. As I always say, you know, super chats will stop the show. Super thanks will stop the show. Anybody that joins the ARP family will stop the show as well and be recognized. I appreciate each and every person that supports the channel. Appreciate you all being there. Please make sure you hit the like button. That is the only official, you know, way to support the channel or price of admission to the show today is to hit that like button for me. Share the stream with those that need to see it. And without further ado, let's get it popping. Hate when that happens. Wrong one.
Federal judge temporarily blocking President Trump's executive order to fast-track the deportations of alleged Venezuelan gang members out of the U.S.
Matt Finn is in West Palm Beach, and he joins us now with the latest. Matt, this seems unbelievable. Break it down for us. Explain to us why we want Tren de Aragua back in the United States.
Yeah, so this judge ordered planes full of suspected terrorists to turn around to the United States. President Trump's proclamation of this seldom used Alien Enemies Act of 1796 says all Venezuelan citizens 14 years or older who are suspected Tren de Aragua gang members cannot become citizens of the United States. But yesterday, the ACLU filed a lawsuit claiming the Alien Enemies Act could be used to deport any Venezuelan in the U.S., regardless of whether they are affiliated with TDA. So a chief U.S. District Judge, James Boasberg of the D.C. Circuit, agreed with the ACLU and went against President Trump, granting a temporary restraining order preventing the deportation of 5 Venezuelans yesterday who were already in U.S. custody. It is unclear right now if the 2 planes that were ordered returned by the judge have done so. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi responding, writing, tonight a D.C. trial judge supported Tren de Aragua terrorists over the safety of Americans. This order disregards well-established authority regarding President Trump's power, and it puts the public and law enforcement at risk. The Department of Justice is undeterred in its efforts to work with the White House and Department of Homeland Security and all of our partners to stop this invasion and make America safe again. Now, as the number of illegal migrant crossings and illegal gotaways continues to drastically plunge under the Trump administration, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem posted this video online showing gates at a border wall closing behind her.
This is an announcement to the entire world. America's borders are closed if you want to come here illegally. We only want people in our country who love America and want to follow our laws.
And on the topic of TDA, I investigated an individual migrant in Chicago over the past couple of weeks. The story is up on foxnews.com right now. He was ordered deported under the Biden administration in 2022, found his way to Chicago, and guys, was arrested in the city of Chicago 4 times. Back to you.
Wow.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, so this is another case of judicial insanity. For the life of me, I do not understand why these people are crashing out for illegal immigrants, and especially illegal immigrants that have committed crimes, heinous crimes, and in some cases had been locked up 3-4 times, and in other cases, way more. Why are they crashing out? Why are these judges willing to risk their reputation for gang members, criminals? I mean, this is happening right in front of our eyes. And once again, a leftist activist judge has decided that his little district court has more authority than the president of the United States. Who is putting the battery on these people's backs? Who? I want to know. Who is putting the battery on these people? I mean, once again, the judicial system has stepped in to obstruct enforcement of immigration laws. I want to know who is putting the battery on these judges' backs. And some of these judgeships are appointed, others are, elected, but something has to shake. Anybody that's going against deporting criminals, they need to be, they got to figure out a way to get these people up out of these seats. Seriously. And over the weekend, U.S. District Judge James Boasberg issued a ruling that temporarily blocked President Trump's use of the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to deport members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. Trump invoked his rarely used wartime law last week, claiming that this gang, was invading the U.S., targeting Venezuelan nationals 14 and older, suspected of gang ties for immediate deportation. But this woke judge sitting in Washington, D.C., stepped in, halting deportations until the case is heard, arguing the act's use is illegal outside wartime and misapplied to migrants seeking asylum. That's what he said. So this judge blocked President Trump's executive order to deport Venezuelan gang members using the Alien Enemies Act. And if that wasn't crazy enough, he also ordered 2 planes full of criminals to turn around mid-flight and return to the United States. You can't make this stuff up, man. You can't make this stuff up. Who paid this judge to put this extreme ruling out? Who paid him? We need to investigate his bank accounts. Seriously. And honestly, not just his bank accounts, but the bank accounts of any and everybody that's close to him and his family. Seriously. I mean, this gang, this Tren de Aragua gang, this isn't just some other street gang. These guys are on another level with it. They're on another level with it. They're involved in drug trafficking, human smuggling, extortion, armed robbery. I mean, you name it, they're doing it. I mean, they've basically, if you guys remember the movie from back in the day, New Jack City, they basically pulled a Nino Brown. They pulled a daggone CMB and went and took over an apartment complex out in Colorado. We got video footage. And this isn't just happening at the border. I mean, they're operating in New York City. They're in Chicago. They're in Denver. They're in Miami. They're in Tennessee. I mean, they are everywhere right now, man. They're embedded in every major American city. They're all across the country right now. And they're spreading like wildfire thanks to Biden's open border policy. People are upset that Trump got in there and took action, but the American people, we voted for this. We do not want gangs that feel like they have the ability to go in and take over apartment complexes. We don't want it. President Trump took action. He signed an executive order invoking the Aliens Enemy Act, which allows the president to deport or detain foreign nationals during a time of war or invasion. Given the historic surge of illegal crossings and known threat from these gangs, the administration classified the situation as an invasion and began removing these criminals. It should be simple. This should be a no-brainer. It should be a no-brainer. But it's not. It's not if you're a left-wing activist judge who thinks Venezuelan gang members deserve due process. You can't make this stuff up, man. You can't make this stuff up. Let's talk about who just sabotaged this order, though. Let's talk about that. You can't make this stuff up, man. You can't. Give me a second. So this guy here, this is Judge James, I believe it's Boasberg, maybe it's Boasberg. a federal judge from Washington, D.C., an Obama appointee, and someone who, unsurprisingly, has a history of ruling in favor of illegal immigrants and against common sense border enforcement. This judge here granted a temporary restraining order against Trump's executive order blocking deportations of Venezuelan nationals under the Alien Enemies Act. And guys, this wasn't even the craziest part. This wasn't the craziest part. At the time of his ruling, 2 planes full of deportees were already in the air. One headed to El Salvador, the other headed to Honduras. And this dude demanded that the planes turn around. You can't make this stuff up, man. So I'll say this much. Those daggone prisons over there, they are not playing. They ain't playing with these dudes, man. They are not playing with these dudes. Wow. They're not playing. So what happened was, when this judge, forced these 2 flights of gang members, human traffickers, violent criminals to come back to America, all because the ACLU argued that Trump's executive order was too broad and could be used to deport any Venezuelan, not just gang members. But the administration, despite the judge's ruling, well, they sent these people up out of here anyway. And this is where we need to step back and ask the real question. Why would Democrats fight so hard to keep dangerous criminals inside of the United States? Why? Because it has nothing to do with fairness and everything to do with power. Democrats have a vested interest in keeping the border open and preventing deportations. They are invested in this. They rely on mass migration as a long-term political strategy. Think about it. They push for mass amnesty because millions of new Democrat voters mean that they can tilt elections in their favor for decades to come. They attack every deportation effort as racist or xenophobic, to demonize Republicans. They flood the country with illegal immigrants, refuse to deport them, and then turn around and say, well, we can't just leave them in limbo. We have to give them citizenship. I mean, this is all a game. It's a long con to reshape America permanently. They're trying to implement the same exact thing that they've been implementing over in Europe. You look at France right now. You look at what's going on in Spain. You look at what's going on in the UK. They want that to happen here. They want to reshape America permanently and pave the way for this, one world government. If you guys have had any time, and I know y'all don't really care about what's going on in Canadian politics, but do some research on X and just check out some of the clips from the debates that's going on up there right now in Canada. And they outright tell you what their plans are. The Liberal Party up there in Canada, they tell you they're talking about the one world government on national TV. See, it's not happening here, but they're talking about it in their debates up there. It's happening. So these Democrats, these liberals, they want to reshape the country. And the thing is that you guys know who's paying the price. The people that pay the price, it's the working class. It's you. It's people like myself. The middle class, the working class, we are the ones that pay the price. We're the ones that have to compete with illegal labor. The parents in major cities whose kids now have to deal with gangs in their schools, in their neighborhoods. The families who lose loved ones because, an illegal immigrant, unalived one of them in a DUI crash and they didn't have insurance. Or, commit some, heinous violent crime. Democrats don't care about you. They don't care about you. They don't care about this country. They care about power. And they're willing to do anything. They're willing to allow crime to skyrocket, to let gang members run loose, and to let the border become a war zone to get it. Now let's talk about President Trump for a quick second. Let's talk about how President Trump was actually solving the problem before this crazy judge stepped in to sabotage him. Trump's administration brokered a groundbreaking deal with El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele. They brokered a deal. This wasn't some, run-of-the-mill, fly-by-night thing where they were just like kicking these people out. They had a game plan. There is and was a plan. They're not playing with these people over here, man. Over the weekend, the El Salvador's president, he posted this right here on X, that the United States will pay a very low fee for these migrants, a very high one for El Salvador. Over time, these actions, combined with the production already being generated by more than 40,000 inmates engaged in various workshops and labor under the Zero Idleness program. And it will make our prison system more sustainable. He's talking about them here. But, this tweet, he said that this is going to cost more than $200 million a year. And this deal will help finalize the intelligence gathering and go after, the last remnants of MS-13, including former and new members, money, weapons, drugs, collaborates, and sponsors. So instead of simply deporting Trinidad and Tobago members back to Venezuela, where they could easily return to the United States, Trump worked out an agreement to send them to El Salvador's infamous maximum security prisons, where they would be locked away with zero chance of escape. And let me say that again. Trump worked out a deal, a way to get these guys permanently locked up instead of risking them coming back. I mean, it's a genius move. It's a genius move. It is. But of course, the left has a big problem with this. The left has a huge problem with this. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous, man. It really is. It really is. I mean, it's so ridiculous. They are not playing with those dudes over there, man. They are not playing with them. But the fact that you have liberals here in this country, hold up, let me let y'all see this right here, man. Let me let y'all see this real quick. Hold up. They ain't playing with these dudes. They are not playing with these guys, man. At all. There's no getting out that. I don't know if you guys, there was a, what do you call it? There was a documentary that came out about this prison. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to check it out. It's on YouTube. Y'all got to see it. I mean, it just shows you this is a place that you do not want to be. You do not want to be here. They'd be better off just dipping out the country because this is where you're going if you get caught here in this country. Trump comes up with this deal. If you haven't seen the documentary, go check it out. It's been out. Honestly, it's kind of scary. Not the documentary itself, but just finding out about this place here. You do not want to be there. Do not go to El Salvador and think you committing some crimes because they got a place for you. They're going to hide you away. They're going to hide you away.
Deport undocumented Venezuelans that the administration say are dangerous individuals with ties to the gang Tren de Aragua. That gang is obviously associated with a lot of crime, human trafficking, drug dealing, theft, shootings, including in your state of Texas, right outside of your congressional district. Do you agree with this? And if not, what's your issue with the U.S. using any tool at its disposal to remove undocumented, violent people from this country?
Well, my argument is that we already have tools that are available to remove undocumented violent people from our country. And so the idea that you want to go into a zombie law, this is kind of like what we saw in Arizona when they decided to revive a zombie law around abortion. It is the fact that we can't trust this administration to actually use a scalpel, but instead they love to use a butcher knife on things. And so giving them this wide latitude to just kind of go across and just claim that anybody is anything is wrong. And so we do have courts, we do have processes, we do have laws, and we should just go ahead and use those. There's a reason that nobody else has decided to go back until into Adam's times in order to try to find ways to make sure that we can keep our country safe.
This lady is full of sugar honey iced tea. She is full of it. She didn't answer the question. She didn't answer the question. This lady is ridiculous. I'm sure you guys know exactly who this is. This is your favorite representative, Jasmine Daggone Crockett from Texas, District 30. And I had to ask myself, watching the clip, why is she against gang members being removed from the United States? Why is it that she's against deporting criminals to a place that's housing them for way less than what it would cost to house them here in our prisons? This should have been a no-brainer. It should have been a done deal. And yet, because of one judge's ruling, we are probably going to be forced to take these people back. Or it's going to be a whole issue, and the Democrats, well, for whatever reason, they're cheering this foolish daggone ruling. And here's the part that will make you laugh, I guess, is that after this judge issued, this ruling, Bukele trolled him on X with the simple response, oopsie, too late. I mean, these people, man, I just don't understand. I just don't understand them, man. I guess I do understand them. They are showing you that they are anti-America. They're showing you that. They're showing you that they would rather put you in danger, that they're okay with putting you in danger so that they can remain power, stay or take power, because they're not really in power right now, but so they can take power. They're willing to fight the president, even common sense. common sense executive orders that make sense to 90+% of Americans. These people, for whatever reason, are willing to fight it tooth and nail. And you wonder why they're losing. You wonder why people are not rocking with them. And the translation, for this right here is basically your ruling means nothing. The gang members are already locked up. They're there. They're not sending them back, and they shouldn't send them back. El Salvador refused to return the criminals, and Trump's plan was already in motion before the judge could stop it. And this is why Bukele is one of the best leaders in the world right now. That dude is not playing games. You want to talk about cleaning up his country? That man cleaned that country up quick. I don't know if you guys know what you guys know about El Salvador, but it was once upon a time one of the most dangerous countries that you could possibly go to. It was on the list here in America of places do not go. Do not go there. That man doesn't play, and he gets real results. And he does it without caring about the left's pathetic cries of human rights violations. So to sum this up, Trump was enforcing immigration law and deporting gang members. A federal judge blocked and ordered planes to turn around. Trump's team worked out a deal to send these criminals to El Salvador. Democrats and activist judges tried to sabotage it. And Bukele, well, he basically said, too bad, we already got them locked up. The left will stop at nothing to block Trump's efforts to secure this country. And for some reason, they'll apparently fight even harder for Venezuelan gang members than they do for the safety of the United States citizens. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Which brings me to my next topic. We got to talk about. We got more to get into. I want to make sure this is the right clip. Give me a second. Yeah, this is it. Okay.
I'm a big fan of the oldies, and when it comes to the feelings that Americans, voters at large, and Democrats have, I can't help but think of Chubby Checker. Why is that? Because the question is, how low can you go? Voters' views of Democrats in Congress, the lowest ever approval ratings on record per Quinnipiac University. Look at this. Approve 21% among all voters. Look at the disapprove level. Holy Toledo, 68% of all voters disapprove of how Democrats are doing in Congress. Now, you might think that is low, and this is the lowest number on your screen here, down at 21%. But I want to bring you over here to how Democratic voters feel, because this is truly unbelievable. Amongst their own party, how do Democratic representatives, senators, how are they viewed? Get this, the plurality disapprove at 49%. More Democrats disapprove of the job that their party is doing in Congress than approve. Get this, only 40% approve. These are truly horrific numbers. They are in the trash bin of history. That is how low these approval ratings are. When you can't even get plurality approval among your own party, you know you're doing something wrong in the eyes of the.
Oh, they're definitely doing something wrong. But when he said it, the trash bin of approval, absolutely. And shout out to Dragon Master Zero for gifting 5 ARP family memberships. And actually, you know what? Let's show him some more love. Shout out to him for the 6th one for the day. Appreciate you, brother. God bless you. Thank you for supporting the channel. Really, really appreciate it, man. Thank you. Trash bin of approval. Their own voters don't even support them. And the thing is that those numbers are going to get worse, because when we see what happened over the weekend and more people get an idea of what these people are blocking from over the weekend, like, wait, y'all wanted a plane full of criminals to turn around and come back to the States to be let out here back into the streets? That's what y'all wanted? It's going to get worse. The American people do not rock with the Democrat Party. They're not rocking with him right now. They're not rocking with him right now. And for good reason. For good reason. And just when you thought things couldn't get worse, just when you thought things couldn't get worse for these daggone Democrats, these demon rats, the news just dropped, and it's absolutely devastating for them. You know, we just saw the polling numbers, and the Democrat Party has hit all-time historic lows in favorability. That's right. All-time lows in favorability. Trash bin lows. The lowest approval rating ever recorded in the last 30 plus years. Two polls came out over the weekend, both showing that the Democrat Party has hit historic new lows in approval ratings. The CNN poll putting the Democrats' favorability at 29%, the lowest in 33 years, and with 54% having an unfavorable view of the party. And there's more news. There's an NBC poll that discusses it as well. Check this out. You can see this for yourself. I want to make sure
the Democratic Party are at an historic low. 55% view the party negatively. And there's a divide among Democrats. On Friday, 9 Democrats, led by Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and Independent Angus King, who caucuses with them, voted with Republicans to advance a short-term spending bill to keep the government open.
As bad as the CR is, I believe allowing Donald Trump to take even much more power via a government shutdown is a far worse option. A shutdown would allow DOJ to shift into overdrive.
Now, before the vote, Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi released a statement defying Schumer, writing, quote, "Democrats must not buy into this false choice. The party divisions were on display."
Today was a bad day for the country, and I won't sugarcoat it. Today was also a bad day for the Democratic Party.
In this case, CR stands for complete resignation.
I think there is a deep sense of outrage and betrayal.
It's an unacceptable, unconscionable, and un-American spending bill.
Is it time for new leadership in the Senate?
Next question.
What leverage do we have? Democrats keep showing up at every night fight with a casserole.
I want to go back to this real quick.
Resignation.
I think there is a deep sense of outrage and betrayal.
It's an unacceptable, unconscionable, and un-American spending bill.
Is it time for new leadership in the Senate?
Next question.
What leverage?
The thing is that the American people are waking up. I think a lot of us are a lot more in tune to what's going on than maybe, people were 10 years ago. They're a lot more in tune. This is the same daggone continuing resolution from last year. This is the same bill from last year. The same bill from last year that signed with no problem, during the Biden-Harris administration. They just continued it until the end of this fiscal year. I mean, come on, man. And that's why the polls are as bad as they are. And the thing is, it's probably worse if you actually interviewed people that don't support or watch, the Communist News Network or, NBC or any of these other legacy media. If you actually just went out and polled regular working Americans, it's probably worse. It's probably worse. Seriously. 2 polls in one day. 2 polls in one day. Both from left-wing media. I mean, brutal. But let's put this in perspective. In over 30 years of polling, neither party has ever hit such a low approval rating. Never. It's never happened before. In 30 years of polling, neither party has ever seen these types of approval ratings this low. So when the guy from CNN said trash bin, he was spot on. Trash bin, low approval ratings right now. And it makes sense for the GOP. It makes sense for the GOP. Trump's got good numbers. The rest of the party, not so much. Not so much. There's still a big contingent of the Republican Party that's aligned with the neocon policies or politics of the Bushes, the Cheneys. So it doesn't surprise me that their favorability in this country is low. But for the Democrats, a big part of that negativity is coming from within their own party. I mean, they are turning on each other right now. When you have somebody, on the Bill Maher show that said that they were leftist, but they would consider themselves a MAGA leftist, that's why, hey, I've said this, and I know people have agreed with me in the chat. People have not agreed, but disagreed with me. I think we are due for a third party. There is a difference between the Democrats, the Republicans, and the MAGA movement. There is a difference. And I know some people say, nah, we don't need a third party. And y'all may be right. You may be right there. But there is a difference. There is a difference between the old guard Republican, neocons, and the far left progressive socialist Marxist Democrat Party. There's a difference. And we're seeing it. We're seeing it play out right before our eyes. We're seeing it. I mean, according to data, a huge portion of Democrats who are unhappy with their own party believe that the party isn't fighting hard enough against Trump. So let's get this straight real quick. Democrats are losing support because their own voters think that they aren't radical enough. And this is where it gets a little scary. Because, when your voters think you're not extreme enough, what does that mean? What it means is that the party is going to keep doubling down on insanity. They're going to keep doubling down on the crazy. And Democrats have had 2 absolutely disastrous weeks. And it's not just about the polls. It all boils down to one simple fact, and that's that they have no leadership. They don't have a real vision. No strong leader to unite their base. And the only thing holding them together, by looking at these polls, is their hatred for President Trump, for Elon Musk, for Doge. And even that's starting to fall apart because when you look at what's happening, it's clear. Democrats are cracking. They are. So you have a portion of the party that wants them to be more radical. You have another portion that have basically said, I can't be a part of this. I'm with Trump. I'm a part of this MAGA movement. I think that term, MAGA leftist, that term is probably going to get more popular as the weeks and months progress. That number, I think that term is going to get a little more popular because you got a lot of people that are not with a lot of the they're not with a lot of the radical stuff that you hear from the Democrat Party. And shout out to Joseph Orsini for the $9.99 super chat. He says, Wise, do you know how these polls are done and calculated, i.e. who gets paid and how? Also, good morning, ARP family. I don't know if there's a real easy way to answer that question. There are companies out there that make money doing these polls. But the thing is that the word on the street, at least from last year, now I don't know how true it is this year, but when the election was going on, there were people that were paid to put these polls on, but they wasn't actually polling people that were making up the numbers and keeping the money. Allegedly, that's what they said that was happening. But I'm not 100% sure exactly how they put these polls on, but I will say this. Last year, I actually was reached out. I was reached out, and I can't remember the company right off the top of my head because it was like summertime last year, and I can't remember it. But I did get reached out to for a poll, and I, completed the poll or whatever. And then I called one of my buddies and was like, "Hey, I got reached out to for a poll. Have you been reached out to before?" And he was like, "Nah, I've never been reached out before." But that was the first time that it ever happened to me, that somebody reached out to me to, be a part of one of these polls. But I mean, you also got to think that the sample size is probably really small. They probably reach out to 1,000 people or so. And then they can kind of put these numbers together, and then they just kind of guesstimate, based off of these people. And, but yeah, I don't have a real answer to exactly how they go about doing this, doing those polls. But appreciate the super chat. Thank you very much. And if you haven't done so already, man, as Renee Suzanne said, man, hit that like button for me. We got 400 people in the building. Make sure y'all hit that like button for me, please. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Let's keep the show going. But yeah, these Democrats, man, they're eating each other. They really are. They are eating their own. It's crazy.
Could fire half the workers in the federal government, it would have been a far worse consequence.
So he's saying that the path that House Democrats wanted would have presented a worse consequence. Is he wrong?
He's absolutely wrong. I mean, look at the reality of the votes, right? I understand that the American people are frustrated. Please believe many of us did not sleep because we were calling and trying to impress upon the senators the importance of pushing back in this moment. And as you saw, we had all but one Democrat in the House that voted for this. So that's 212 Democrats in the House. And then you had the vast majority of senators vote for it or vote against it as well. And so the idea that Chuck Schumer is the only one that's got a brain in the room and the only one that can think through all of the pros and cons is absolutely ridiculous. And Jake, you and I both know that this administration could care less about whether or not they violate the law. We know that we've had to rely heavily upon the courts. And I want to say, as you're talking about the polling on my party, I want to say that it is the Democratic attorney generals and some governors that are standing up against this administration and bringing those lawsuits and winning every single time. They are losing in court. Could we do a better job of making sure that the American people know that we are winning in the courts? We probably could. But at the end of the day, it's still Democrats that are winning for the American people.
Some progressive groups are calling for new leadership in the Senate for Democrats. Even House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, your leader, he was asked if he supports Schumer as leader of the Senate Democrats, and he said, next question. Do you think Senate Democrats should replace Chuck Schumer?
I think Senate Democrats have to sit down and take a look and decide whether or not Chuck Schumer is the one to lead in this moment.
You're close with Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York. Some of your fellow House Democrats say, and not just progressives, by the way, we've heard that moderates have said.
Hey, Kenny, she's not from Texas. She's from St. Louis and went to a $55,000 a year or $35,000 a year private school. She's definitely not from Texas, and she's definitely not from the district that she's currently representing.
This, too, that they're ready to support her to challenge Chuck Schumer in a Democratic primary. Would you get behind that?
That's 4 years from now. If you were asking me at least in 2 years, then I would have an absolute answer. But I can tell you that there are a lot of people that are watching his leadership in this moment. This is the moment. We don't even know what elections will look like in 4 years, if we will have elections. And so I definitely think that younger, fresher leadership may be something that many of us, not just depending on what part of the spectrum you're on, but many Americans may be looking for, especially in the state of New York.
Did you hear what this lady said? Did y'all hear what she said?
If we will have elections. And so I definitely elections will look like in 4 years, if we will have elections. And so I definitely think that
this lady said that she doesn't know if we will have elections in 4 years. The gaslighting, the fear mongering is just unbelievable with these people, man. They really are. It's just unbelievable, man. So the face of the new Democrat Party, Jasmine Crockett, the face of the new Democrat Party, looking through the comments on X, you see it. It is time for fresh, new, younger leadership. Pass the torch. You see that all throughout X. But honestly, I think that if Schumer is out and they plan on primarying, somebody that's a part of the MAGA movement needs to go and run for that spot up there in New York. Somebody. I don't know who, but somebody has to. Somebody has to. They tend to think that Schumer needs to be replaced. And a lot of people, on X said the same thing. Let's primary him and get him up out of there. I mean, that's what they want to do. But the new face of the Democrat Party, man, I don't know. Shout out to True Texan for the $2 super chat. He says, Senator John Fetterman for Dem Senate leader. He's the only one that has some daggone common sense. Seriously. He's the only one with some common sense. This lady right here, she's lacking.
You are sending your kids to college to go and work on them. Okay, well, guess who is working the farms? So that you can afford your food.
So that you can have food.
So that you can have food. Now, how many of you are looking to send your kids into hospitality after this college education so that they can go and make the beds at the hotels? How many of you are planning to send your kids to college? Because that's what we do here. We send everybody to college. How many of you are planning to send your kids to college so that they can then go and build these houses? So the reality is that so long as we live in a capitalist society, there's always going to be someone or a group of people that will do work that some of the rest of y'all don't want to do. These are the people that are really making us great in this country.
It's unbelievable that you have people of the Democrat Party that pushes this narrative. I mean, it is unbelievable. Now, what we do know about the Democrat Party is we know that they are the party of slavery. They've been the party of cheap labor. They've been that. And shout out to Ronnie from Tennessee. She's no lady. She's a woman. A lady conducts herself properly in all situations. She's no lady. I stand corrected. Thank you very much and appreciate the $5 super chat. But this individual here, let's rewind that real quick. Let's let it play again. This is crazy.
How many of you are sending your kids to college to go and work on them? Okay, well, guess who is working the farms? So that you can afford your food.
We got to have either free or cheap labor so you can afford food in the United States of America. Okay, I get it.
You can have food. So that you can have food. Now, how many of you are looking to send your kids into hospitality after this college education so that they can go and make the beds at the hotels? How many of you are planning to send your kids to college? Because that's what we do here. We send everybody to college. How many of you are planning to send your kids to college so that they can then go and build these houses? So the reality is that
construction work pays extremely well. I mean, this is hands down, and these other Democrats that keep pushing this narrative right here, it is hands down one of the most racist comments that I've heard on national TV. And the fact that these people can get out there and say it with no pushback from legacy media. This sounds like rhetoric that you probably heard prior to the Emancipation Proclamation. This sounds like the same type of rhetoric that was used by the Democrat Party, or what was known as the Confederates back then, as a reason to keep people that look like me in bondage. This type of rhetoric, and here you have it coming out the mouth of a black woman in this country. I mean, this is insane. These are also the same people that will turn around and say that, well, we built this, that, and the third. And sending your kids to college isn't a guarantee. It doesn't guarantee that your children are going to make some money in this country. There's plenty of people with degrees that are broke as all get out. There's plenty of people with college degrees that are broke. There's plenty of people with college degrees making way less money than those that are working in construction or in the blue collar fields. I know this to be true. I know this to be true. College does not guarantee that you are going to make a ton of money. It's going to guarantee that you're probably going to be in a ton of debt, but it doesn't guarantee that you're going to make a lot of money. One of my guys works in construction, over six-figure earner. And I know a multitude of guys like that. Works in construction, six-figure earner. Those construction jobs pay extremely well. And when you think about all the building that's going on right now, we got the World Cup coming to the United States. And it's going to be in multiple cities. The building that's going on right now, I mean, they're paying entry-level laborers right now $17, $18 an hour. And in some cases, $20 an hour, depending on where you are in the country. They're paying people in Georgia right now for entry-level labor positions. You can go get $17, $18 an hour. And that number will go up as you get skilled. This is the type of rhetoric that I'm for certain that you heard pre-Emancipation Proclamation. This type of rhetoric right here. It's hands down one of the most racist things that I've heard. And you hear it from people on the left, white women, black women. You hear it. The one white lady on CNN, what did she say? Who's gonna pick our blueberries for our smoothies? I mean, this is insane. With no pushback from legacy media. Matter of fact, they actually allow it on legacy media. Shout out to Amy, is it Lodgeman? Is that how you pronounce that? For the $4 super sticker. Thank you very much. I appreciate the support. Thank you. You're absolutely right, Dr. Silla. This is modern day slavery talk. Everybody isn't college bound. Everybody should not be saying, send your kids to college. Seriously. That is not something that everybody should be doing. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. Golly, man. I'm going to let this play and then we're going to keep it
Sending
going.
your kids to college to go and work on them. Okay, well, guess who is working the farms? So that you can afford your food.
That you can have food.
So that you can have food. Now, how many of you are looking to send your kids into hospitality after this college education so that they can go and make the beds at the hotels? How many of you are planning to send your kids to college? Because that's what we do here. We send everybody to college. How many of you are planning to send your kids to college so that they can then go and build these houses? So the reality is that so long as we live in a capitalist society, there's always going to be someone or a group of people that will do work that some of the rest of y'all don't want to do. These are the people that are really making us great in this country.
These are the people that are really making us great in that country. This type of language, this type of rhetoric is no different than the rhetoric and the language that I'm for certain was had in the conversations that was had prior to the Emancipation Proclamation. I mean, come on, man. Guess who's working the farms so you can afford food? So you can have food? I mean, come on, man. God forbid we report cheap forced labor. These people are lost. These people are lost, man. Oh my goodness. These people are lost, man. Seriously. It's really sickening. It really is, man. It's really sickening.
Shipping these immigrants up north, we need them to pick the crops down here. But that doesn't mean that we don't recognize our moral responsibility as well. When the president, the former, well, occasional.
This is sad, man. This is sad.
Why are you shipping these immigrants up north? We need them to pick the crops down here. But that doesn't mean that we don't recognize our moral responsibility as well. These immigrants up north, we need them to pick the crops down here.
How does this differ from the language that they spoke in the early and mid and late 1800s? How does this language, how does this sound any different? Seriously.
Why are you shipping these immigrants up north? We need them to pick the crops down here. But that doesn't mean that we don't recognize our moral responsibility as well.
Shout out to Steve, Ed Mister, man, ARP family member, new ARP family member. Thank you very much for supporting the channel, man. God bless you. Appreciate you. How does this sound any different? What's really crazy is that why is any black person in this country still supporting these people? They're telling you who they are. You don't even have to ask them. They are volunteering the information now. They're telling you exactly who they are. This is the same type of language that they were using in the early to mid 1800s. This is their reasoning why slavery had to continue in this country. This right here. These are the same people that say, well, I guess if we can't get them to work for free, sharecropping, we'll get them that way. Oh, if we don't hire them, we'll just make it a crime to not have a job. We'll lock you up. Convict leasing program. This is the same people. There's no difference.
Why are you shipping these immigrants up north? We need them to pick the crops down here. But that doesn't mean that we don't recognize our moral responsibility.
They're not even hiding it anymore. They're not even hiding it anymore. They're not hiding it. They're telling you exactly who they are. I mean, come on, man.
You're shipping these immigrants up north. We need them to pick the crops down here. But that doesn't mean.
That's a daggone shame. That's a daggone shame. And you wonder why the party is falling apart. And you wonder why the party is falling apart. You may have AOC, maybe Bernie, still able to draw a crowd, but party moderates are getting pushed out by the radicals. And Chuck Schumer, well, he's on thin ice. He's on thin ice. You got the far left progressives looking to primary this guy. You got people like Jasmine Crockett, Pelosi, and so many others out here demanding free and cheap labor, demanding it. The Democrat Party is in complete disarray. And I mean, here's where it gets crazier. You know things are bad when CNN and MSDNC, NBC, legacy media, the entire works, the networks that exist solely to carry water for the Democrat Party, when they're basically admitting that Democrats are falling apart. Their favorability in the late 2000s, night and day in comparison to today. Night and day. I mean, it is outrageous. These people are not trying to hide it anymore. We must have our cheap and free labor. We must have it. They're letting you know exactly what time it is.
So I think we got to have tough conditions. Tell people to come out of the shadows. If they've committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked. They're gone. If they've been working and are law-abiding, we should say, here are the conditions for you staying. You have to pay a stiff fine because you came here illegally. You have to pay back taxes, and you have to try to learn English, and you have to wait in line. So,
They're not talking like that no more. I wouldn't dare vote for that lady. There's no way a Hillary Clinton would ever get my vote. Absolutely no way. But this is their problem. That is their problem. They sway with the wind. Nothing that they say holds. Nothing. And the radicals, they know that they can easily control them. So then you have to ask, what does the Democrat Party actually stand for? Now, what we know about the party today, we understand that they're the party of illegal immigrants. They're really the party of slavery that hadn't really changed much. They are who they are. They haven't changed much. And even one of the Democrats' biggest cheerleaders, they don't even know. MSNBC's Molly John Fast, one of the biggest cheerleaders for the left, she went on TV and delivered what was supposed to be a masterclass on why Democrats are struggling, but instead, she accidentally admitted the real problem. On accident. She didn't do this on purpose.
It's a policy versus politics.
Hold up.
Right? Biden world, look, this is a policy versus politics problem, right? Biden world, very good on policy, grew the economy, very bad on politics, right? Unable to communicate with voters. We're seeing this sort of hangover from that a little bit. And also, losers are not popular. So they lost, people are mad, Democrats are mad. There's a ton of Monday morning quarterbacking. But the reality is there's good policy here. And it's popular, too. Like, think about Project 2025. This summer, Project 2025, which is basically all the stuff Trump is now doing, right? Disassembling the Department of Education, ending the national oceanic, the weather. I mean, this is all stuff that is in Project 2025. Bad policy, wildly unpopular policy. So here's the problem. Democrats actually have to do politics now, and that is where we are. But I do think they have much more popular policy. These things that Trump wants to do are very unpopular. The tariffs are unpopular. All of this is unpopular. So if they can't make this, if they can't message on this, I don't know what to tell them.
So Democrats actually have to do policy now. But what she said before, Biden's economy was actually great. The problem is that was bad messaging because it wasn't. It wasn't great. The economy, it was not great, but that's their takeaway. The media told them that it was, and they believed it. We're actually in a recession going back to 2022. We had 2 consecutive negative growth in GDP back in 2022. That is a recession. But legacy media, they decided that, hey, we're going to change the definition of what a recession is. And in all actuality, we actually had 3 negative growth periods of GDP back to back to back. And they still wouldn't say that we're in a recession. People getting laid off like nobody's business. They still wouldn't say we're in a recession because legacy media job is to shield for the Democrat Party. These people act like we didn't just live through the past 4 years. Like we should not believe our lying eyes. Don't believe it. The real problem wasn't messaging. It was Biden's economy absolutely crushed the middle class. When you start talking about 29% inflation, that decimated the middle class. The only people that were doing well were Wall Street elites, which, by the way, are the same people funding the Democrat Party. Those are the people that was really crushing it because the market was doing well, but hell, most of us didn't have the money to invest in the market. Let's just keep it a buck. Most of us were just trying to keep our heads above water, pay the basics, keep the lights on, keep the rent or the mortgage paid. What up, TA? Most of us were there. Now let's contrast that to the doom and gloom, from the Democrat Party. These Democrats, with, what the American people are actually saying. There's a new poll that asks voters, how they feel about the direction of our country. And this is what they had to say. Give me a second. Let me pull it up.
Up since November, and if that doesn't seem like, first of all, the mood of the country, this really jumped out. We ask folks, is it on the right direction or the wrong direction? That 44%, you say right direction, that's up since November. And if that doesn't seem like a lot, the last time it cracked 40%, you got to go back to 2012. The last time it actually hit 44 or higher, January of 2004. So a lot of this is Republicans, but independents, that number is also up since the election on the direction of the country. First of all, the mood of the country, this really jumped out. We ask folks, is it on the right direction or the wrong direction? That 44%, you say right direction, that's up since November. And if that doesn't seem like a lot, the last time it cracked 40%, you got to go back to 2012. The last time it actually hit 44 or higher, January of 2004. So a lot of this is Republicans, but independents.
That in itself says a lot, man. That says a lot. So 2 months in, or, just slightly under 2 months, I guess, and you got 44% of the country thinking that we're headed in the right direction, which is up from 27% in November. Up from 27% in November. What I think is even more important, though, is that independents, they're shifting right. And that's a real nightmare for Democrats. They desperately need voters to believe that Trump is an existential threat, that he's, going to destroy America. But that strategy isn't working anymore because everyday Americans, especially working class voters, can see the difference between Trump and Biden. They lived through 4 years of Trump. They remember the low gas prices, a booming economy, secure borders, no foreign wars. They remember that. We all remember it. They want that back. When you got places like, Bloomsburg, Indiana, they've already started building. They've already cracked ground there where they're building the largest Honda Civics manufacturing plant in the country. All of your Civics, for the most part, are going to come from there. Think about how many jobs are going to be right there in middle America, Indiana. And then you think about all the other companies that are going to come there, the tire companies and all these other organizations that are going to come there because they got to be there because they're part of that manufacturing process. And we expect that you're going to have more to come in different places around the country that historically did not receive these types of opportunities because of the tariffs and forcing these companies to come and build here in the United States. Shout out to B Mark for the $1.99 super sticker. Thank you very much. Appreciate the support, man. Thank you. I mean, it is a lot of opportunities there. A lot of opportunities coming. People want to go back to the way things were prior to the scamdemic. Where does this leave us at right now? These numbers do not look good for the Democrats, man. They're losing ground and their messaging is crumbling. And their radical base is pulling them further left, alienating those in the middle, alienating independents. But here's the reality. Republicans still got a lot to do. They got a lot of work to do. But if they keep delivering, I bet those numbers, they're going to go even lower for the Democrats. And especially if they're going to keep giving in to the radicals. If they keep giving in to the radicals, good luck to them in the midterms. But all that remains to be seen. Because their obsession with identity politics, woke nonsense, Trump derangement syndrome, it's left them disconnected from the real struggles of the working America. Really. And I don't know, if people, can look past it anymore. Even people in the middle. Seriously. Even people in the middle, those that would consider themselves moderates on the right, on the left, they're done with these Democrats. Now, I don't know if you guys watched the video I put out yesterday, in the exchange from Bill Maher, the other night, but it didn't go as planned. It didn't go as they thought it would go. But this is what's happening in the country right now.
Okay, so just like I said, we don't have time to fuck around. I gotta go right at you because, I've known you for a while, and when I first read you, you were a conservative Republican, but not crazy. Like I read you in where? Newsweek, Time Magazine? And I'm not saying you're crazy now.
I was gonna say.
But you went from just a conservative, leaning right to a Trump supporter. Okay, someplace I would never go. And
The night is young, Bill.
it is not ever going to be that young. And I'm just wondering what you think now. We're approaching 2 months in. You must have a feeling in your gut. Look me in the eye and tell me you don't. That this is really going badly, and I shouldn't have thrown my lot in with this team.
Oh, no, I feel the opposite.
All right. Tell me why.
I'm so sorry, Bill.
No, tell me why.
No, I feel so proud of, I was never a Republican or a conservative. I was a leftist, and I am still a leftist. I'm just a MAGA leftist now because...
That makes no sense.
How many of you guys think that term is going to pick up? MAGA leftists. How many of you guys think that term is going to catch some steam here in the very near future? That term MAGA leftist, I think, is going to catch some steam because there's a lot of people that despise the right. They despise the Republicans, but they can get on board with these policies. They can get on board with the policies that President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance want to implement. I think the MAGA left movement is coming, man.
Would you like me to explain?
Please do, yes, please.
When I look at what President Trump ran on and the agenda that he's enacting right now, he took a Republican Party that was built on social conservatism, foreign interventions and wars, and free trade and free markets. And he basically took an axe to all of those. During the campaign, he said, look, he's pretty pro-gay. That's pretty obvious. He appointed the highest-ranking out gay person, Scott Bessent, our Secretary of Treasury, which is incredible. And he sided.
Now, I wanted to speak on that yesterday. I decided not to, but I'll speak on it today. I don't know if Trump is pro-gay. I think Trump is pro-merit. And if I have a business, I don't care what your orientation is sexually. I don't care. I care, can you do the job? That's a concern of mine. I don't have to agree with your lifestyle. I don't. And I don't agree with that lifestyle. But when it comes to hiring, I think it's one of those situations where, hey, your resume, it looks good. We had a good interview. I think you can come in and do what I need to do. I think you can further, my agenda or come in and be an asset, to what I'm trying to get accomplished. I don't have a problem with that. Hiring someone that's a part of the alphabet community, I don't think it makes you pro-gay. I think it makes you pro-merit, which is what President Trump and J.D. Vance have been talking about for quite some time. Merit, hiring people based on their merit, not their, skin color or, sexual orientation or anything else along those lines. Can you do the job?
The pro-life wing of his party.
He has changed the party, for sure.
Okay, so he believes abortion should be legal for 12 weeks.
But free trade, you mentioned.
On foreign intervention, He's anti-war. He's trying to bring
Yes.
it to an end to all of these wars, okay?
By surrendering, but yes.
Okay.
That was such a stupid statement. I mentioned this yesterday, but that was such a stupid statement. Surrendering? How do us as Americans surrender in a war that we're not fighting in? First off, we don't lose wars, first off, but we don't have anything to do with that. We don't have anything to do with that as far as troops on the grounds and things of that nature. Surrendering that was such a stupid statement, man.
I mean, that is one way to end the war.
And Zephyr, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right there. I forgot about the debacle. I'm trying to forget about the debacle, not the people who lost their lives, but the way that they handled the pullout in Afghanistan was just atrocious. And legacy media did not call them out for how bad of a debacle that was.
You know, he's on the other side of another party that is quite pro-war and wants to keep the war going, right?
So let me just
get to the third point. And the third point is, and he's not free trade. He does not believe in free trade. He looked at our destroyed manufacturing base. He looked at the downwardly mobile working class. He looked at the fact that working class Americans can no longer afford the American dream. And he looked at why that was, which was there was a handshake agreement between both parties that we should somehow have free trade, which resulted in shipping 5 million good manufacturing jobs overseas to build up China and Mexico.
And some came here.
No, what they did was they brought in millions and millions of illegal migrants to compete with the jobs that remained here. And what Donald Trump said was, we have to stop selling out the working class. That agenda that he laid out, socially moderate, anti-war, and anti-free trade protectionist, that is a leftist
Sam, I
agenda.
will bring you in, I swear to God. All right, so
she cooked his behind. She cooked his behind. Bill Maher loves to play the middle. He loves to play the middle. You know, pretending that, you know, he's some kind of reasonable liberal who can call out his own side when necessary, but he still has a hard time admitting that Trump's movement actually appeals to people outside of the right, because doing so would destroy his entire worldview. It would destroy his entire narrative. And that's exactly, you know, what happened, you know, when, you know, this young lady here mentioned that she was a self-proclaimed MAGA leftist. And that right there left him stunned, scrambling for words on his own show. And you know, this dude is not normally, you know, at a loss for words. But she lays it out perfectly. Trump redefined the Republican Party away from, you know, endless wars and free trade globalism and Wall Street first policies. He's done that, and he is currently doing that. He's one of the first presidents in quite some time that has stood up for working class Americans. Shout out to True Texan for the $2 super chat. Stick a fork in old Bill. He's done and out of touch. You may be on to something there, True Texan. But President Trump, man, he stood up for working class Americans and is currently standing up for working class Americans. It was already being announced, like I talked about earlier, the new Honda Civic plant that's going up out there in Indiana, and you can expect more to come. Working class Americans, you know, were abandoned by both parties. And she had mentioned it on here that if we ever found ourselves in a conflict, a real conflict with China, they could hurt us because they manufacture most of our products. We don't have the ability. We would be scrambling to manufacture our own products just so we could fight, because they manufacture most of our products. And yes, both sides sold us out, man. Both sides sold us out. President Trump came in and challenged both sides, the corrupt establishment, and called out the lies of the media. This isn't just one conversation on a Bill Maher show. This is why they're in a complete free fall. The polls show us, with independents, especially working class Americans who used to be Democrat, they're now joining the MAGA movement. skeptical independents are starting to see that, oh, President Trump was right. They're starting to lean more into the MAGA movement. More and more people across the political spectrum realize that the media has been lying to them. So the only thing that's holding them together is their TDS. And that's not bound to bring voters to their side. Let's just keep it a buck. It's not. But when you got people like Pelosi, when you got people like Jasmine Crockett out here championing for free and cheap labor, they're showing us exactly who they are. And I'm a firm believer that if you allow people to talk long enough, they will show you who they are. And these daggone liberals are showing us that they want slavery. They want it. What's really sad is that you got the same people that are always talking about, slavery and Jim Crow and how bad it was. These are also the same people saying that we got to have it right now because that's the only way that we're going to keep your food costs low. We got to have it right now because these are the people that build the homes. Oh, man. Wow. It's unbelievable, man. It really is. It is unbelievable to hear these people and then legacy media doesn't push back on them when they say that. I don't know why they sending them up north because we need them down south. We need them down here to pick the crops. Wow. Unbelievable. That's all I got for you guys today, man. I appreciate you all pulling up as always, man. I appreciate the support. I really do. I really do. I do appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that supported the channel today. True Texan, Gerard Caswell, Dragon Master Zero, Joseph Forsini. Appreciate you all. Ronnie from Tennessee, Amy, Steve, B. Mark. Appreciate you all for supporting the channel with Super Chat, Super Stickers, joining the ARP family. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate everybody that pulled up, all the ARP family members. Appreciate you, Quincy James, man. Appreciate you as always. Shout out to the Blues. Renee Suzanne, Zephyr K9, B, T.A. Caskey pulled up for a little bit. Appreciate you guys a lot, man. We will be back at it. And tomorrow, I do have, what's his name? Sheldon Daniels. I do have him booked. He doesn't want to come on live, so we're going to do a pre-recorded interview. I will play it in the live stream next week, but we don't have him booked up to join the show until next week. Monday, and then we'll do a pre-recorded interview, and then I'll showcase it live, on the channel Tuesday, Lord willing. We'll make that happen. But yeah, we definitely have Sheldon Daniels joining the show here in the very, very near future. So, but as always, man, I appreciate you guys pulling up. Appreciate you guys supporting me, supporting this channel, supporting the movement, man. Keep God first in your life. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. EST, Lord willing. Peace.
Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp, they cut right through. Real talk for the soul's appeal. Prayers